Alright guys, so quick notes on literal equations. We're going to do the advanced concept for the day. And again, this is what we're dealing with, these notes. And again, I want you to take a picture of them and send them my way. Okay, the review is threefold. One, we're going to look for fractions. We'll talk about what to do. Two, of course, the famous get rid of the junk. And three is divide. It's always in that order. And we're just going to go through some problems. Okay, so example one. Oh, let me get my board changed here. So example one, let's just do a real simple one. Let's do a equals, let's just do s plus 2. Okay, so again, you copy that down, and we are going to solve for s, which is a terrible letter, so let me change that to t right now because it looks like a 5. You guys know what I'm talking about, so let's get rid of that right now. Alright, let's make it t. Alright, so let's solve for t. So again, we don't see any fractions, so I don't have to worry about cross multiplication. So the next thing I do is look for junk. This is officially junk because it's added or subtracted. Make it disappear. Whatever I do on one side of the wall, I do the other. And again, this is pretty simple for most of you guys. What gets tough is this section right here, because we can't put them together, so you have to get used to saying it but then writing it sideways. So this literally says a minus 2, right? If you read it straight down, write it sideways, a minus 2. Order officially doesn't matter. Some kids wrote minus 2 plus a, but I just reading down makes more sense to me. All right, and that equals t. So that's straightforward. That's just a junk problem, no big deal. Okay. All right, let's go to example 2. And again, same concept. Let's do a equals, and now I'm going to put, let's say, 2t. All right, so I get 2t. And now we're going to go through our steps again. So again, we look for fractions, none. We look for junk. Now there's no plus or minus over here, so I have no junk. So the last step always is divide. Remember, we divide by anything that's with that letter. So we're going to divide by 2. And whatever I do to one side, I do the other. So again, division is all about canceling out. And that's all you have to do. So now we got a over 2. All right, so let's get one more. Let's go to example 3. So example 3, I want to make the one that we dread, which you guys know. It should be this. Okay. So clearly you know that I'm looking for a fraction here. So we know we got a fraction. Our first step of fractions is making sure this t goes anything in the middle level of algebra, which is really doesn't exist. All middle level stuff really belongs to the top. Okay, so I'm going to go with a equals, put the t up top. Now again, you guys know that you really don't need a 1 anytime it's in front of something. So once the t gets moved up, the 1 really doesn't have to be written. I'm going to put it there for the heck of it. Alright, so we're 2 levels now, which is what we want because we know we're going to cross multiply. I can always put a over invisible 1. Okay, from that, we know we're going to draw the wall, cross multiply. 2 times a is 2a, and 1 times anything is going to be that thing. Now again, you really don't need 1 times 1 is 1. It's an invisible 1. And now, to be honest with you, we are done. T is alone. There is no junk. There is nothing to divide. Some people say, well, can you divide by 1? Yes, but that does nothing. So basically, we are officially done with that. Okay? All right, so now we get to something that is different, and this is called squared, or square roots. And I'm going to show you what it looks like with an example, and then we'll talk about the notes. So I'm going to slide this up, and let's talk about the advanced concept. So example 4 is where we really get into it. Okay, and it looks like this. A equals, and I'm just going to kind of make stuff up here. Let's go with just a basic t squared. Okay, so here there's no fraction, there's no extra junk, and there's nothing to divide. So this is the new concept. Well, how do you get rid of something that's squared? And the answer is square root. So very simply, the notes on the side, I'll put this on the side, is listen, x squared and square roots are inverses. Now, that doesn't mean much to you guys, but here's the truth: is inverses make each other disappear. That's not real math talk, but that's the truth. So anytime you see x squared with a square root, it equals x. Anytime you see a square root with a squared, it equals x. The bottom line is this symbol and this symbol, and I'm just going to put an x here, make each other disappear. Okay? So this is really the next level of solving for you guys. It's the ability to make squares or square roots disappear. So very simply, going back to our example, there's no junk, there's no fraction, there's no divide. Well, how do I make square disappear? Here's what it is. You basically say square root. And again, squares and square roots, reverse that, make each other disappear. So you end up with t. Well, of course, the whole concept is, wait a second, whatever you do to one side of the wall, right, you have to do to the other. So your final answer is screw it, eh? That's new. It's advanced, but it is the next level of this type of thing. Okay, let's do a couple examples. Actually, let's get to the next page here. Okay, so from here, let's just do example 5. Alright, so let's just make something up here. A equals, let's go, I don't know, 5 pi r squared. And obviously you guys know I can do pi r squared. You know there's a lot of r's and stuff like that, radius squared, but bottom line is let's solve for r. Okay, let's go through our steps. So number 1, no fractions. Number 2, no junk, right? Nothing plus or minus. Number 3, divide. So we're trying to get r squared alone, so let's divide. Divide by everything that's in front of that letter that we want to get used to, 5r. I know it's an r squared, but we're saying r, so we're just going to take care of r first. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Now, this is where normally I would say we're done. Remember, that's the reason why we divided, so we can cancel. But we have to actually write this out, so watch. A equals 5 over pi. Normal stuff. R squared. Now, normally, I would be done. R equals done. I've done junk. I've done divide. Now, all of a sudden, wait a second, I got a squared. Can't do that. So how do I get squared disappear? Do its inverse. Square root. Whatever I do to one side of the wall, I do the whole other side. Looks terrible, but it works because we know, and again, and I'll highlight it, squares and square roots always make each other disappear. So I'm left with r. Oops, sorry guys. And again, there's nothing to do to that side, just so you guys know. You're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Nothing. You're good. That's it. Game over. So the only extra step is understanding the concept of how do I get rid of something squared? I square root it. All right, let's do one more, and then we'll call it quits here. Stick to your rules. All right, so let's go. V equals 4/3 pi r squared h. I think it's the volume of a pyramid or something like that. I don't remember. Or whatever. All right, so let's do it. Let's solve for r. Okay, stick to our rules. I know I got a fraction, so I got to make sure all this stuff is at the top level. I kind of cheated and wrote it at the top level, but I'm going to rewrite it anyway, just in case. So v equals 4, slide the pi up, slide the r squared up, slide the h up, all over 3. Again, you could put the 3 here. Some teachers, after they have a big fraction bar, will put it in the middle. We don't care. Okay, it doesn't matter where you put it. Bottom line is we're cross multiplying anyway. Okay, put the v over invisible 1, and let's do our thing. All right, so 3 times v, 3v. Let's go the way that 1 times anything is the same thing, so we end up with 4 pi r squared h. All right, stick to your rules. Don't get freaked out by the r squared. We just got to get r alone. Let's get r alone. There is no junk, so I go straight to divide. Now remember, when we divide, It's divide by everything. So we got to divide by the 4 so I can cancel it out, the pi so I can cancel it out, and the h so I can cancel it out. Whatever I write on one side, I write on the other. 4 pi h. Almost done. I'm going to rewrite this. I know some of you guys would squish this in. Not going to lie, I respect the squish, but I'm gonna rewrite it. 3v 4 pi h. All right. So we're basically done, except for we got this squared. And again, we just remember, oh yeah, how do you get rid of something squared? The inverse is square root. Whatever I do to one side of the wall, I do the other. And that's really it. A lot of you guys would scribble these out and everything. I get it, but I'm going to rewrite it. These two things are inverses. They make each other disappear. Like multiplication, division, like addition and subtraction. They make each other disappear. 3v 4 pi h. And that's my final answer. So, the advanced thing is nothing new. It's just added on to your repertoire, which is to get rid of something squared, I square root it. And it is always the last step. So you're not changing anything. You're just adding something new. All right.